Guys, I'm Jayce the Ace, and I'm on cross counter, and I'm going to be showing you, I guess, an overview of how Rufus works and how to play against Rufus. So I will start off by saying how Rufus's general character is that he is only good up close. Mid-screen against characters with good normals and pokes, Rufus is weak, and full screen, Rufus is also really weak. So Rufus's best is when he's up close, putting pressure on you. All right, so basically mid-screen, against most characters, he only has really few options. So basically, every character can jump at you, but then Rufus has a dive kick. And so with Rufus's dive kick, it's actually probably that's his main move to go to in almost any situation. So if he was to dive kick at you, the second you block it, you're actually at a disadvantage, and Rufus is at an advantage. So, and the thing with that is, when Rufus neutral jumps, he can actually decide whether he wants to dive kick or not. And because for you to actually stop a dive kick when it comes is for you to actually dragon punch it. So I'm gonna dive kick and then Stay Long can dragon punch it. But let's say instead of dive kicking, I just neutral jump and then Rufus whips the uppercut. Then I can just punish with a sweep. And as soon as I sweep you, as soon as Rufus knocks you down, he has total control of that situation. So it's actually risky if Rufus neutral jumps and dive kicks, it's risky for you to do an uppercut because that's actually a guess for you to decide whether Rufus will dive kick or not. But if Rufus forward jumps, then generally it's safe to uppercut because if he's forward jumping, he can't stop his arc anymore. So when he forward jumps, you want to uppercut. When he neutral jumps, that's actually a bad time to uppercut, unless you're able to react fast enough to this dive kick. And then, so the best thing to do against a Rufus that's neutral jumping and dive kicking at you is actually, with the character with a good focus, is to focus and backdash. Because once Rufus lands and you focus and you backdash, Rufus only has good normals up close. At this range, all his far pokes are really weak and really slow, right? So when he neutral jumps, and let's say I don't do anything and you backdash, you're still safe. If I jump and I dive kick and you focus and backdash, the only thing he can do there actually, because his jabs would either reset you or you'll backdash out of jab range. So the best thing he can do is to actually sweep you. But let's say you release the focus. If you release the focus, he gets counter-hitted. So now it's a mix-up for him to continue pressure on you or not. So the other thing he can do is he could land and he can dive kick again. Well, focus it. He's still too far. Because then if he neutral jumps again, he actually still can't reach you. But if he forward jumps after, you can dragon punch him. You see that? So generally, again, when Rufus is neutral jumping, one of your best options, if you have a good backdash and a good focus, is to just focus it, because that actually eliminates a lot of Rufus's offense. So then that eliminates his neutral jumps, and if he forward jumps, then you can uppercut it. And so that's against his dive kick. His other move to advance is to do the crouching medium kick. And in reality, the forward crouching medium kick is negative on block. I'd say either -1 or 2. So after you block it, he's at a disadvantage, where Fei Long or any other character with 3 or 4 frame jab can jab him out of anything he does next. So I'm gonna do the crouching forward medium kick, and I'm gonna try to jump and dive kick him to start pressure. But in reality, that shouldn't work, because the jab should hit Rufus before he even jumps. So from there, I can't start offense. I'm gonna press jab after you block the crouching medium kick. Generally, if you time the jab right, Rufus can never jab you back. So his only option is to actually EX Messiah. And then that's actually risky for Rufus, because if he does that, it will hit you out of your jab, but it's a guess on his part whether to do EX Messiah or not. Because you could block it as well. But then, if the Rufus does EX Messiah and you jab, that means he knows that that's like his only option of getting in. And what he's trying to do then is to stop you to do your jabs. But you shouldn't stop doing your jabs just because he does EXSI at once, because if you stop doing your jabs, that leads him to do every other option he wants, because now you're scared of the EX Messiah following the crouching medium kick. So it is a mix-up, but it's in the opponent's favor. So after a block crouching medium kick, it's a mix-up in the opponent's favor if the Rufus is willing to do an EX Messiah after. But otherwise, other than EX Messiah, Rufus has no offense following a block crouching forward medium kick. All right, so I guess those are his 3 best approaches, and the only legit approach that Rufus has is footsies, where he does the sweep, and when he does a sweep, it knocks you down, so he has full control of the match after that. So, I mean, I can't really explain that. It's just if a good Rufus will sweep your pokes and whiff punish you, and that's how you know it's a good Rufus, because that's Rufus' safe option to getting in on an opponent. And generally, that is probably the only option that he should have, because against a good opponent, Rufus shouldn't have any other way to get in. All right, so I guess that is Rufus mid-screen. And so the next thing we're gonna go is how to apply pressure onto Rufus safely. So I'm gonna go into record right now. So basically, Rufus only has one good wake-up option, and that's actually EX Messiah. And EX Messiah is like I think a 12-frame move or 14-frame move. And so it's really easy to safe jump Rufus, and you can actually do a meaty jab or a meaty light button on Rufus, and it should block every time. So I'm gonna knock him down and I'm gonna press jab. Oops. So if you just do a crouching low kick and then you block after, it should block the EX Messiah. So actually Rufus a character like Fei Long could meaty jab on Rufus safely and still block the EX Messiah. So against a good Rufus, they generally won't even do EX Messiah on wake up. They'll let you do like a jab and go for your grab. When you're gonna go for the grab, then they'll EX Messiah you. So we'll see how that. So first he'll block. He'll block the first 2 hits, and then he'll go for it. Generally, that's what most Rufuses do. And there's actually a way you can punish that. And so the way to punish that is to do meaty and then backdash. So I'll show you what happens if you backdash. Because then, once the opponent backdashes, EX Messiah whiffs in the beginning, and then it'll hit you in the later frames. But in the later frames, it's no longer invincible, so you can actually punish that. So if you backdash, after they assume you're gonna go for a throw, you can react, see what they're gonna do. So if they don't do anything, then you're back after you backdash, you're back at a mid-screen game, and you have the advantage in this situation. And if you backdash in the EX Messiah, you should be able to react with a bunch of options. So let's say we're gonna try with you can backdash and then uppercut it. All right, and then let's say for Fei Long specifically, he has Ultra 2. I think, what's the motion for it? All right, and since EX Messiah is multiple hits, the hit that touches you shouldn't be armor breaking, so this should work, I assume so. That should work. Yeah, that should work. So basically what you want to do, it's a safe, I mean, obviously in this situation, you're letting go of pressure, but you're showing them that you know how to beat EX Messiah. So you're threatening them to say that if they do EX Messiah again, you're going to punish them for it. Because what Rufuses think is that when they do EX Messiah, they're at an advantage because they put you at a 50-50 guess following it. Because EX Messiah, the following kick has invincibility frames. So they can actually beat your uppercut. And if they don't want to do the kick, they can actually do a low hit, or they can do a high hit where it hits above. So it's not in their favor because they have to guess, but when the opponent guesses wrong, it makes them more scared of the EX Messiah. And so it makes the Rufus more willing to do it because they assume that it will work and it gets to your head. But if you're legitly punishing them for every EX Messiah they do, then it will make them do EX Messiah less. And then afterwards, once you show them that you can EX Messiah, you can actually go for better mix-ups. You can actually go for the grab and not be scared of it anymore. Or you have less fear of it because the Rufus knows that he can get punished for trying to go for EX Messiah. Alright, let's see. So I guess for Rufus' EX Messiah, it does go over a lot of characters as well. I don't know if it goes over Fei Long specifically or not, but even on hit, if you do a crouching like a short or jab on I think like Ryu and a bunch of other characters, EX Messiah will go over. And so good Rufuses generally won't even do EX Messiah right when they wake up because they're too scared of it going over. So they'll block first and then they do the EX Messiah after, like I just said. And that's why doing a few meaties and then backdashing after is a really good option against Rufus on offense. Let's see. So generally, cross-ups on Rufus are also safe against EX Messiah. That should go over. And also, when you get hit by the EX Messiah with a one hit, you only lose like, I think 10 damage. You only get hit, one hit of EX Messiah is only like 10 damage. So if you get hit by that, you actually have nothing to worry about. It does no damage and then wastes 1 meter. Yeah, so you could cross-ups on Rufus are generally safe because the startup for Rufus' EX Messiah is really like 12 frames. Alright, so I guess that's probably a safe way to do to put pressure on Rufus okay. So now we're gonna talk about Rufus and offense. Rufus likes to gain offense. Since Rufus is actually really bad mid-screen, they wanna take the risk up close. And so what they wanna do generally is turn their defense into offense. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So generally, if you're gonna go for like a short jab and you're gonna walk up grab, Rufuses enjoy that because when you go for the grab, they can go for the dive kick. And right when you go for the grab and the Rufus jumps and goes for a dive kick, automatically they're on offense. Once you block or once you get hit by Rufus' dive kick, you are at a disadvantage. So I guess against a Rufus, you don't want to go for late grabs. You either want to go for frame tight grabs or you don't want to grab at all. Most players don't even grab Rufus on offense because that's actually probably the riskiest thing to do because Rufus takes their pride into turning that grab into their offense. So doing a grab against Rufus is actually really risky, against good Rufuses. All right, so now with Rufus on offense, what they want to, generally they want to, basically they just want to dive kick you, in a sense, because if they knock you down, that gives them an option for a free dive kick. And dive kicks can go either way, cross up or not cross up. And in this game, Rufus's dive kick is really, like the hitbox on it is really odd, because sometimes they'll cross you up and sometimes they won't, whether it hits or not. And then it's so fast that if they cross you up and they do an attack after, it's really hard for you to block, because they switch sides so fast and you can't react to it. So against blocking, when you're blocking a Rufus's dive kick, you actually want to minimize the amount of disadvantage you have. And so the lower the dive kick hits, the more advantage Rufus has. The higher it hits, the less advantage Rufus has, frame-wise. So if Fei Long blocks the dive kick from his feet, Rufus probably has a lot more frame advantage than when Fei Long blocks it blocking high and blocking it at his head. When he blocks it this high, Rufus might be at a disadvantage. I'm not sure. Yeah, blocking it. All right, well, I'm going to assume that Rufus is safe. Well, Rufus is safe on all the dive kicks, no matter where it hits. But Rufus has more advantage blocking when you block the dive kick at the feet when compared to the head. And then, so what generally Rufus want you to do is they want to punish your attempts to tech. So your methods of teching are either crouch teching or grabbing. And the bad thing about that is crouch teching is that you only hit low. So if Rufus jumps, the attack is coming from above and your attack hits low, Rufus, either whether you block the hit or not, whether he punishes your tech or not, it allows him to put more pressure on. And if you're doing a crouch tech and he hits you, then he can do a combo on you following it. So crouch teching with low short, using crouching low punch and light kick is actually not a good option against them. And then stand grabbing is also really bad, because once Rufus jumps and you stand grab, you cannot grab him anymore. Basically, he could do, if you try to stand grab, you lose all day. And now, if you try to crouch tech against the dive kick, you'd also lose all day. So basically, there's only two good defensive teching options to actually use, and that's the option select medium punch tech, where you do crouching low punch, crouching low kick for teching, but you press the crouching medium punch too, so that the medium punch comes out. And it's only good for characters that have good crouching medium punches, like Ryu, and I guess Fei Long would be good too. So in that sense, it techs, and it techs a little higher. I mean, it techs, and with the move you throw out the tech, hits higher. So if the Rufus is dive kicking low, you hit him out of his dive kick. And then alright, so that's one way to tech against Rufus. The other good option to tech against Rufus is to do the 4-button tech. And that's where you do low punch, low kick, medium punch, and medium kick. And you do all those, you get focus attack. And so in this way, you can tech, and then you can backdash after. So if he doesn't grab you, you just backdash after. And once you backdash against Rufus, so backdash, you're at this situation again, and this is a good situation for you because Rufus is not up close to you anymore. So I'm gonna try to go for dive kick, and then the opponent will think it's a grab. But so he'll do the 4-button tech and backdash as an option select. So I'm gonna do low short, and then I'm gonna dive kick, and you're gonna think I'm going for a grab. So at that situation, he doesn't apply pressure on you anymore because now he's whipping his dive kick. And you're far out again, and now you can block his moves. And at this situation, you're actually good again. So it'll make the dive kick whiff, and it'll allow you to he'll be right in front of you, where you can do a jab. See, now he's blocking all the moves. Now you don't have to risk it anymore. So what you do, you focus, you backdash, and you block. Or you can focus, you can do the tech, you backdash, and you just backdash again to get out of the situation. Because backdash has a lot of invincibility frames. And Rufus, outside of his close normals, his far normals are really weak, except for crouching sweep. So those are, I guess, your two best teching options. So I guess it would be the option select crouching medium punch tech, or the focus tech, the 4-button tech. All right, so now in the corner, Rufus's corner game is really tricky because his dive kicks can land in front, or it can also land behind you, where it's really setup specific. So in the corner, generally you're gonna stay in the corner. When they dive kick you on the left hand corner, when Rufus dive kicks you, he lands in front. So what Rufus like to do is, after they knock you down with Galactic Tornado, they go for the ambiguous dive kick again. And that is not a cross-up, unless they do it really early. But, so Rufus can actually can time it where it's not a cross-up or where it is a cross-up. And even the Rufus will have a hard time telling whether it crosses up or not. And so you will have a hard time telling as well. So the best option for that, I think, is to block it crouching, non-cross-up. And that, I think, should block everything he does, all the dive kicks he does in the corner, if it's a meaty, ambiguous cross-up. So what you want to do is block towards the corner and crouching. And that should block almost all of his dive kick setups, unless it's like a really frame tight, like unblockable setup, but that's really hard to time with a dive kick. So in the corner, your best option is, as I said, block crouching in the corner. And he'll land in front. You have to remember that he'll land in front. So that's how you block him in the corner. And what other Rufuses want to do is, after they knock you down, you have to jump in the corner first, and they jump out. So what that does is it puts you in a corner, and you have to block, and it's a lot harder for you to block outside the corner, because in the corner, like I said, you just block crouching back. But once he puts himself in the corner, he can do an ambiguous dive kick, front or back. And that one, you generally want to block it high. You want to block it high because he's trying to get out of the corner. He puts himself in the corner, so when he does the ambiguous dive kick, it'll put him back outside the corner so he can combo you back into the corner. So if you block that high, if you block a crouching, just crouch, the dive kick will most of the time will actually go over you. But if you block it high, it's actually harder for Rufus to get out of the corner again. So you want to block it high, whether it's left or right. It's up to how you see the dive kick coming at you. But most of the time you should block it high, so that you get out of the corner, because Rufus is really strong in the corner when he puts the opponent in the corner. Okay, and then in this game, the left corner and right corner are actually different. Dive kicks on the left-hand side will leave Rufus outside of the corner, but dive kicks on the right-hand side will actually leave Rufus in the corner. So let's see if that's right. See, now that puts Rufus in the corner. So now you have to remember that. In the right-hand corner, you still want to block it in crouching towards the corner, but as soon as you block it, you want to block the other side, following right after. It's like, because he's in the corner now, and not any move he does would be obviously forcing you to block the other way if you want to block it. And then, yeah, that's basically how you block Rufus's dive kick in the corner. His other setups are where he does a sweep and he jumps forward, and he can do a really ambiguous dive kick. Because he can tie the dive kick to cross you up. Like right there, that was a cross up. Or he can do it later and it'll hit you in front. See, that was a cross up. Right here. And that was forward. And it's really up to Rufus to decide. And that's actually one of the hardest things to block against a Rufus. Because that's like a pure 50-50 where you cannot try to uppercut it. You cannot uppercut it. It's a pure 50-50 for Rufus after a close range sweep where you can't do anything basically. And the only thing you can actually do is to block. So most of the time, let me think for a second. Most of the time it will land behind you. No, actually, it really does depend on when Rufus does it. But Rufuses after this generally do a high dive kick. So what you want to do is actually block crouching cross up. And that should block not all of the setups, not all of the dive kicks, but a majority. At this angle, at the super high angle, if you block it crouching, it will most likely cross up, right? So if he's doing an ambiguous one and you block it crouching, it will force it to be a cross up. So I guess most of the time you will want to block it crouching cross up. See, that was a cross. If you were standing, that would have been a cross up. So it just depends on the timing. And if you see it happening high, you should block it crouching cross up. And yeah, and I think that's basically it for a general overview of how Rufus works and what doesn't work against Rufus and what does. So thanks for watching. You can find me on Twitter at Nghej, N-G-H-E-J, and thanks for watching Cross Counter. Goodbye.